Sorry about that. I goofed. I goofed. I own it. I'm gonna own it. I was like, oh, this building. They turn off my internet. They always messing up our
Your
internet. That's what I told
internet.
Talia. And this is the problem. They just don't realize like how hard people who work after hours work. So we back. We're back, and
Yes.
we were having like a real dope conversation that I really want to get back to because I think it's like super amazing. Like when
Thanks.
you talked about, so you talked about kind of like having some intrinsic gifts and how important that is to like pay
Hmm.
attention to those gifts and those stories like that are going on in your head.
Yeah, like it's crazy because my entire life I did not realize that I had spiritual gifts until I got around other people with spiritual gifts, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, a lot started to make sense. I was like, okay, well that's why I don't fit in with niggas. Like, like regular
Uh huh.
people. I have I feel like I have never um fit in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something like growing up, I was never like people knew who I was, but I was never like a popular kid. Not that
Mm-hmm.
that matters, but I was never like how people had their groups of friends or
Right.
clusters of
Right.
friends. I would have them for a little while, but then people would just switch up.
Mm-hmm.
And it kept happening, and I never found my tribe. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just
Mm-hmm.
never found my tribe until last year. um and it's great because these people are helping me to learn more about my gifts and
Mm-hmm.
honing in on them, and yeah, it's been really cool.
Now, talk to me more about that because maybe we may be thinking about it in different ways, like about a tribe. I always talk about on social media about my village,
Yeah.
and I think I'm thinking in the same sense of tribe, like
Hmm.
how helpful, how useful it is to keep you either grounded or connected. Tell me more about that. I would love to. I think people need to hear more about that too.
Yeah. So in regards to spiritual gifts, like you guys know that I talk about astrology all the
Hmm.
time. I
Right.
talk about different spiritual practices, namely like hoodoo, which is like African American, uh, like it's more of like a Black American thing.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
not the same as voodoo. Like voodoo and hoodoo are different.
Right. 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 Right.
Okay,
right. Right.
it's like hoodoo is like, for example, hoodoo would be getting a dollar bill and writing $1 million over the $1 and putting
Hmm.
it in your wallet and be like, I'm gonna be a millionaire one day. That's hoodoo.
I
Like,
love it.
getting up every morning and saying, like, looking in the mirror and doing mirror work, looking in
Hmm.
the mirror and telling yourself, I'm smart, I'm successful, I'm resourceful. That's what I make my son say every day in the mirror. That's hoodoo.
Hmm.
People think that it's so like it's magic or whatever. Every people do it things like that every day and don't
Hmm.
realize
Hmm.
what it is. And people have this idea of magic and witchcraft or whatever and think that it's something evil, and it's like, no, our ancestors practice things like this.
Hmm.
I'm like, if we all collectively believe that African people have a direct link to the creator, whoever the creator is, or whatever the creator is.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if these were their spiritual practices, why are y'all like freaked out about it? It just, you know. So I try to use my platform to kind of break some barriers down
Hmm.
and get
Hmm.
people to just think differently. I'm not trying to convert nobody to believing anything that they don't want to believe or to practice anything that they don't want, but it's just the education. So with that, with my village or my tribe,
Hmm.
I've learned about different things, that I implement into my daily life,
Hmm.
and they have helped me greatly. They really just helped me to understand my own personal power. They it's like when you meditate by yourself, you
Hmm.
realize that you're the weapon that prospers.
Right.
You're your own worst enemy. Like you really you just come to that conclusion, and it
Hmm.
just it makes you realize how powerful you are. Like if you're powerful enough to stop your blessings, that means you're powerful enough to draw them to you.
Right,
So
right, right.
yeah, that's
Right. So putting out positivity into the universe is really the ultimate part of that message, you know, and begin about taking writing on the $1 bill and say this is $1 million bill and like putting that out there. One thing, like again, like you talked about your tribe, and I'm gonna just bring up your like your so you've definitely created a tribe for yourself and a platform that you talked about.
because I never had one. That's
Mhm.
why I love my Ratcheteers. That's what I call them. I love having my media
Mhm.
company. I get to say exactly what I want to say and how I want to say it, and
Mhm.
use memes and videos to illustrate exactly what the fuck I'm saying so that it doesn't get misconstrued.
Right.
But in that, I have created a community. I have created my tribe. I never had one growing up. And
Mhm.
that's why I love, that's why I'm so transparent with them. Like, they're my friends. Like, I don't call them my followers. Like, I feel like that's so impersonal
Right. Right.
because they're more than that to me. These people have support. Dang, why does this kid play with me? These people have, they've, these people have changed my life with
Mhm.
their support, I was saying the other day, like I'm expectant of my life partner to come and scoop me because I understand how when women are loved properly
Mhm.
and without conditions, like women soar.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing. Like when you have a village, you have a tribe of people who support you. Um, that support, like people need support,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
it really it helps. Like I tell them all the time, like I owe y'all so much. I love you, Rasheteers. Like I owe them so much.
Right. Oh wow. Well, thank you for working with me through this technical difficulty.
Oh, you're
Uh,
fine. Mercury's gonna go retrograde in a little bit. That's all that
oh my
is.
goodness! Please don't bring Mercury back into retrograde. I'm finally just getting things better. So yeah. So people like, what's going on? What are your questions for Talia? We got here tonight. Um, Derek says, if you're powerful enough to, he loves the comment that you said. If you're powerful enough to stop, because it didn't all come through
Oh,
on the thing. Earlier, earlier, Elizabeth said before the stream cut out, she had had like a comment too. So I apologize
okay.
about that. But who we got on tonight? We got Derek. We got April. Alex, how's it going? 100 Devils. I'm with it. I'm with
Okay.
it. They be having some like weird names that pop up on your Instagram feed and stuff like that. So let me go over to all these things. It's it's crazy trying to manage all these things. I have LinkedIn.
You have a whole setup. I have never seen a setup like this.
Look, look, let me tell you. Alice, hey, how's it going? I told you my mom, she always like my mom tunes in. And like I was saying earlier, before we got cut off, is she kind of like just was real with me, in terms about the importance of connecting with people. My mom,
Hmm.
for the people who don't know, my mother's a social worker, and she's worked in both adoptions and in like welfare, like I don't want, the right word isn't for welfare, government assistance,
Okay.
so food stamps. So my mother knows what that experience is like, and having people come into her office day in and day out, and that was just I don't know how she did it. I really, you know.
I would need to like sage every day,
Right.
like before and after going to work, just to
Right.
get my mind right. I can only imagine like like
Right.
seeing and hearing the stories she would have
And the
to.
kids coming in with their parent, and the little bit of government
Mm,
assistance that is given really being stretched,
yeah.
really 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 being stretched. So yeah, and again, even her own sense of using emotional intelligence, because she could easily have said, you know what, I got my own problems, baby. I got my own 3 kids. I'm
Yep.
responsible for, and I what I can do is limited, and I cut it off here. So having those boundaries, how do you create those boundaries? Because at the end of the day, also you have a son,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he needs mommy too,
Yes.
and you have friends, followers, whatever we want to call them, and they have needs too. How do you kind of like create that boundary, keep people in the loop, you know, to show them that, hey, I love you, I think about you, you're my support system, and
Mm-hmm.
that's at the same time pour into them, but also be present for the little one.
Yeah, I had like my friend Randy. I don't. She's not on here. She just had a baby.
Uh huh.
But my friend Randy, she has a large platform too, um, and she preaches boundaries, 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 boundaries. And I, like when I met her, I think we've known each other 2 years, over 2 years now.
Uh huh.
Before I met her, I like, or when I met her, I learned that I had none.
Mm. Mm.
So she taught me a lot about saying no,
Mm-hmm.
being like, look, she's taught me a lot about separating work from home,
Mm-hmm.
and these people who yeah, we have supporters and people who feel entitled to us, but
Right. Right.
she had to break it down and let me see how it's entitlement, and nobody is entitled to your time or your space or your
Mm.
energy. Like at the end of the day, people like me and Randy and a lot of our other social media friends and influencers, like at the end of the day, we're like providing a service to y'all, like entertainment. We're providing free information,
Mm-hmm.
advice,
Mm-hmm.
education, and that is the extent of like what I feel like I want to give to them is all that I am going to give you.
Mm.
Like you
Mm.
should not feel entitled to any more than what I'm willing to give you. You shouldn't want any more than you shouldn't want what I'm not willing to give you
Mm.
anyway.
Mm.
You shouldn't accept, like, just in general, you should not want something that somebody is not willing to give you anyway. So, like, so she taught me how to establish boundaries and things like that, and it has helped immensely because I'm able to focus better
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
what really matters. I'm able to give those projects all of my energy, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing the result from it.
Wow. You know what that you just said was like for me like so really like that resonated is people shouldn't or you know or supporters or our systems or our tribe shouldn't want what I'm not willing to give or what I don't have to give.
Yeah.
And but another part of that is people feel entitled, you
Mm-hmm.
know, to want that extra, to need that extra because something is lacking in their life.
Yes, exactly. It's nothing to do with me. It's all you, baby girl or baby boy or whatever.
Yes, that is all you, baby
Yes.
girl or
Check
baby boy.
check all of that at the
Uh huh.
door. Like y'all cannot. Y'all gotta some of y'all. I'm just saying y'all in general.
Right,
Y'all
right,
have to
right.
learn to really check yourself when you are like trying to demand stuff like that from people. I see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
so weird to me because I'm like, these people don't understand that they're not, that they shouldn't feel entitled to my life. Like you just shouldn't.
Right, right. Wow.
People
That's,
need space. Like that's it's just I don't know.
well, definitely. Well, I love it. I love it. It's 10 o'clock. You know.
I'm not bored.
You're not bored. Well, you know, like I said, one of the things is I definitely want people to go out and pick up this book.
Oh,
I'm gonna bring it up on the screen again. Here we go. I was playing around with the volume because
oh yeah.
Justin was saying, not Justin. Who said that? I had a comment from Jason. Said, "Turn up the volume. We can't hear. Turn up your phone, Jason. Definitely is the way to
He's
go.
like, turn my mic up just a little bit. Yeah,
Just
right
a
there,
little bit.
right there.
Just a little bit. But yeah, your book. I brought it up again. Will Write for Food.
Uh-huh.
I brought it up on my phone. Experiencing rejection and how it ultimately strengthened your faith in God.
Hmm. It's pretty deep.
Sounds deep.
Yeah.
It sounds like it definitely came from a place of healing and wanting to share. What's next on the
Yeah.
horizon for you?
Oh, well, what's next is more books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was about to say, like, when I wrote that book, it was very healing. I was pregnant while I wrote it because I was
Wow.
like, I don't want to bring this child into this world without having worked through all this stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I wrote the book as therapy. And now healing has become a habit, hobby for me.
Mm-hmm.
All day, I really just, it's like I'm enjoying healing because I see how you elevate. You just elevate when you surrender to the healing process. You
Mm-hmm.
elevate, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying that. So, with that being said, I'm writing more books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing another one. I don't have a title for it yet,
Okay.
but it's going to be about it's going to touch on basically triggers
Mm-hmm.
and how, while I was working at Shade Room, working there was tap dancing on a lot of triggers, and I didn't realize it
Mm-hmm.
until I didn't realize how hurt I was just in general working there and in the environment of like the entertainment industry and the types of stories I have to report on, and some of the people I was around just on top of that. But I have all of it sorted out in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
about what I went through and what I've learned. And I'm very excited to finish that. I'm going to try to finish it by October.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice. Well, I'm gonna switch over to like again to follow you on Instagram, the
Yeah.
Closet Ratchet. You have like some really great content. I feel like it's so
Thank you.
transparent and it's so real. That's one of the one of the amazing things that I liked about you that like really, 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 really like stuck with me.
Thank
I'm
you.
also gonna bring up your merch website. Let's
Okay.
to
Hey, y'all. Thank you.
So definitely support. This is theclosetratchet.com/collections /ratchet dash apparel. I mean, you got some stuff on here. Leave black people the fuck alone. I love it. This Let Freedom Ring tee, I'm currently wearing it myself.
Yes.
It took me a while. I'm not gonna lie. I had
It's
to,
okay.
ask questions like, "Can you explain this to me? Like, who's Chopper? And how
Chopper.
and how he relates to ML King." So yeah. So I mean, you really, really, really are kind of making your dream come true. Is
Hmm.
that scary at all? Or
Of course.
uh-huh.
Every single day, I'm like, wow, I'm really doing this shit, but I don't know what I'm doing. But I keep going,
Uh-huh.
you just keep going. I really feel like I'm being led by God to do something great.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my ancestors are guiding me as well. And I'm just applying what I've been through, applying what I've learned from what I've been through, and just applying wisdom basically. Like, you start going through stuff enough,
Mm.
you pick up those patterns, and you know what to do, what to
Mm.
not do, how to move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's all.
That's dope. You start going through stuff enough.
Mhm.
And I applaud you for owning and
Thank
being
you.
so transparent about the stuff that you've experienced because some of
Thanks.
us again it's either hard or it's scary.
We all go through the same
Uh-huh.
stuff. You don't have to act like you ain't going through it too. Share your testimony. People are
Right.
going through the same stuff.
Right.
There are only so many different experiences that you can have as a human being
Mm-hmm.
in one life. We're all going to experience most of them simultaneously, or like maybe not simultaneously, but at some point we're all going to experience heartbreak. We're all going to
Mm-hmm.
experience rejection. We're all going to experience being in love, or maybe not everybody, but a lot of people will experience being in love. A lot of people will experience the transition of parenthood,
Mm-hmm.
motherhood, and becoming a father. There are just so many different experiences that we will all go through. So there's no shame in sharing your experience. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just become so empowering. I'm like, I share the good, the bad, the ugly. Nobody can use it against me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just share it.
Right.
And like I told you, I don't, or I didn't tell you on here because we got cut off, but I was telling him earlier,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, I forgot what I was about to say. What did I tell you earlier when we were
We
cut
talked
off?
about so many good things, like when we got cut off. Um,
Oh.
we talked about the emotional intelligence piece,
Mhm.
and the TED Talk, and how that kind of got uh, came from a different place, and you really switched it up and made it work for your TED Talk experience. For those of us, who won't experience a TED Talk, what is that, like, to
Well,
be selected for that?
it was cool. Okay, honestly, it was the craziest thing that happened when I got invited to do it.
Hmm.
So I did a TED Buckhead. It's like TED X Buckhead,
Hmm.
and if you guys want to watch my TED Talk, you can. Instagram is hating, so the link in my bio, it won't
Yes,
work.
Instagram is hating. I noticed that.
But yeah, but if you go to YouTube and type TED X Talia Oliver, it'll pop up right there.
Hmm.
And gosh, do you see how much weight I've lost? Bitch, I am like skinny. Anyway, um, but
Hmm.
yeah, if you guys want to watch it, it's on YouTube. What did you ask me before that though? I forgot that quick.
We're talking about how you kind of came to, again, how you came to
Oh,
the
came
TED Talk,
to.
and what was that like?
Okay, crazy story. The guy, my friend that invited me to do it, his name is Jacory Freeman. He's
Hmm.
a businessman here. He's in real estate here in Atlanta, but he owns the TEDx Buckhead. You can you know
Hmm.
you can acquire the rights to certain city, like a city.
Mm. Oh,
So
really?
yeah, so
Wow.
he owns that. He invited me to it after we had a business meeting. He sent me a DM on Instagram and was like, "Hey, my name's Corey. I would like to invite you to, have dinner. I'd like to, talk to you about business or something." I forgot what he said, but I was like, "Sure."
Hmm.
So when I go to the restaurant and I see him and we introduce ourselves, I'm like, "Have we met? Like, I know you." And he's like, "Really? I don't know where we meet." I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Let's just keep talking because I'm sure it'll come up and I'll find out where I know you from." So we kept talking and
Hmm.
he started talking about like how I got started at Shade Room. So I told him that I actually used to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners, and a couple like 2 months after I quit selling the Kirby's,
Hmm.
I was offered the internship at Shade Room because I was like, "God, I'm out here selling these Kirby's. I'm not using any of my natural gifts and talents. I hate it. Like, please give me an opportunity to showcase my natural gifts and talents," which I always took advanced creative writing classes growing up.
Hmm.
So, like,
Hmm.
I'm a writer. So, yeah. But when I brought up Kirby, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I used to sell Kirby's too." And I was like, "Oh, really? Where?" He's like, "I used to live in Loganville." Da, da, da. I was like, "That's where I know you from." He sold Kirby's in the same place I did. It's been almost 6 years. It's been 6 years now. It was 6 years ago.
Uh huh.
It
Uh
was
huh.
summer 2014. And yeah, I was like, "I remember seeing you." He was only there maybe a week or two, but I remembered him. I don't
Hmm.
know
Hmm.
why. And it was just the wildest thing. So in between those 5 years that we hadn't seen each other, I've built my media company. He's doing great with real estate and all this stuff. When back then we were just ass out and hurt.
Right.
So it
Right.
was just the
Right.
wildest thing, and he invited me to do that. So we partner up here and there on other things. But yeah,
Nice.
it was just a really crazy. So that's what I was telling you earlier. You never know
You never know.
who
Right.
who you're talking
That's
to and
so
what
like
state they're
crazy.
in. Yep.
Exactly, just by sharing your story. He's like, and you think like, oh, I'm selling Kirby's, and
Yep.
somebody who's going through the same experiences identify with your struggles. Like, you know what? hey, let me give you that stepping stool to your next thing,
Yeah.
and you just never know. Well, I'm
Yep.
excited about your next thing.
Thank
You know,
you.
I really, really appreciate you for coming in the studio, stepping across over to the
You're
studio, and
welcome.
talking to my folks tonight. You know, about emotional intelligence, about the importance of relationships, especially in the business realm.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, actually, I am being joined by a young professional. In the course of his studies, he lost his dad, and that's really tough. You know, luckily, like knock on wood, during the course of my studies, all I lost was my grandfather, who was really, 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 really close to me. But you know, I just think that there's just something to losing a parent. You know, that kind of lends itself to being, to even sometimes people feeling alone in the world. So
Yeah.
during the course of his studies, where he like says, you know, I want to be better, I want to do better, went back to nursing school, lost his dad, and overcame really that, or compartmentalized enough to be able to meet that challenge. And I think as young African American and Black people, we have so many things that come up that make it easy to just give up. You know,
Yeah.
to just say, you
Easily.
know what, I can't do this. This is too much. This is not the right time. I'm gonna, like, you know, go deal with this, and then it becomes like this dream deferred. You know, just because.
What happens to a dream deferred?
Right.
Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? See, I'm
Exactly.
not that young. I know my.
They still teach that in school these days.
I don't know about these days. They did when I was in school.
Oh my God. Well, guys, check it out again tomorrow. Talia, thank you so much
You're
again
welcome.
for like coming in, you know, sitting down in the studio. You guys have an amazing night, and I will see you tomorrow.
Peace, shawty. Thank you.
Thank you.